Hi, everybody. I'm Adriana from sweetsister.love. You can find me at my website, sweetsister.love, .love, not .com. And I love that for me. I've been doing a monthly newsletter every first Friday of the month out of my sweetsister.love website. And First Fridays started as a First Fridays started as a ritual. A writing ritual for myself. I needed to put myself on a schedule that was realistic, that I felt at the time was realistic. And a practice around, I needed to build a practice around becoming a writer because it's like the dream of my heart to write short stories about people, to be a writer. When I was in high school, I wanted to be a journalist who traveled the world and told stories about women. And, a whole lot of other things happened. I lived life a different way. And now that I'm at my second youth, my sons are adults and I'm still young and hot. I still have energy and life to live. And, you know, I feel that the divine is calling me back. Like, don't forget yourself. Like, just because life gave you a bunch of detours and just because, you haven't learned some important lessons yet, doesn't mean that you should quit. You should never quit. There's always more where that came from. There's always more where that came from. And I honestly feel really happy now after several years of suffering. I was suffering a lot of stuff. Ugh. I mean, you could go back and read some of the blog posts at my website. I was always very honest because the trend of the moment was let people watch you grow. Let people see you evolve. People love a rags to riches story. And I thought that that's what I was doing. And I didn't realize, at the time that what I needed was an unraveling. I needed to come undone. And I pushed and pushed and pushed, but I pushed in the wrong direction. Or maybe not. Maybe I pushed in the right direction. We shouldn't be so judgmental of ourselves and the things that we do because everything we do, everything is working out for us. Even the stuff that doesn't work out for us works out for us. And this is my new path. That's the path that I'm walking. And it helps me make better decisions. Everything is working out for me. It could happen a little bit quicker and a little bit smoother if my 3D choices, my real life material choices, align with my inner knowing. And sometimes it's like we're in the wrong energy. We're in this FOMO energy, pick me energy. I don't want to be left out. Everybody else is doing it. I should do it. And it's it takes a lot of courage, you know, to say no and to do your own thing, especially when it's, it's your family or it's your loved ones or it's your friends and you're not exactly aligned with the people closest to you. That could be really tough. Anyway, um, so check me out at sweetsister.love. A year ago, I contemplated Substack for so long. I think this is the problem. This is the problem with creative people. This was my problem, is my problem that I'm working through. I can know that I need to do something, and it takes me a really long time to act. I stay inside of doubt and contemplation and procrastination and laziness, and I'm busy watching others instead of catching that intuitive hit and being like, oh, I should go on Substack and build up my writing there as well. And it took me a year just to get with the program. So here I am. I changed the name of Substack several times. Now I'm single and happy on Substack because that's the current state of my life. And I really think that when I call a partner in, I want to be a match for that partner. And so I'm busying myself with my dreams because look at what happens to women. We prioritize love and being in a romantic relationship situation, whatever. We obsess about like a romantic thing. Sometimes people will get with someone just for sex. And you cut yourself short. You defy yourself. You play yourself. When really you should just be focused on your dreams. Like, what is your dream? What do you want to do? Oh, I want to be a fill in the blank. And we procrastinate about that thing while pining over a man or pining over a partner. So I just decided that I wasn't going to do that to myself anymore. I was going to be my own best boyfriend. I was going to be my own best lover. I was going to be my own best friend. I was going to be on my side. And regardless of what happens in my world, in my life, no matter how much I F things up, because I do F things up, I wasn't going to hate myself for it. And it's really simple to be like, well, I don't hate myself. But sometimes we act like we hate ourselves. We do things that harm our life, including spending money on people, places, and things that are not aligned with our future goals. Do you know what I mean? And so I just decided that I was going to be single and happy, not as a punishment, like, you're going to be single. No, I like to choose my singlehood. And then I started hearing that there are these studies out that the happiest people on earth are single women. And the second happy are married men. So that means that the married women are not doing so well. And I used to be a married woman and I wasn't doing so well. I think that all the things that I am now beginning to process and like work through came from all those decisions that were based on what my mother thought I should be doing and based on how my father treated my mother. And now the real Batman and Robin duo is me and my younger self. I have my 4-year-old self that I'm working with. I have a 10-year-old self that I'm working with. And I have a 19-year-old self that I'm working with. And I think that there are parts of my personality that were developed because of things that happen in those stages of my life. So I'm working with a bad bitch persona. I'm working with a coward persona. And I'm working with a mean girl persona. Things that developed because I wanted to protect myself. I wanted to keep myself safe. I wanted to fit in, be like everybody else. But I'm not like everybody else. I'm not. And they all let me know that I'm not like them, that I'm weird, that I'm different. And it's been my like a cross to bear. And I don't want who I am to be a cross to bear. I don't want to be criticized anymore. I don't want to be made fun of. I want to be the stand-up woman I know I am. And the fact that I've been dealing with situations that's everything but that, that's for me to hold. That's for me to take on. That's for me to say, okay, hold on. I got this. This is mine now. And I'm going to move forward with it in the best way that I can for me. And that means, whew, checking myself every day, putting in place practices that help me feel better, that help me do better, that help me, you know, gain traction for the things that I want. And I'm not going to give up on writing. I wrote a collection of short stories and I self-published it years ago. And I think it's a gem. And the people who have actually read it think it's a gem. I remember that a woman, she was a friend from the yoga studio. She used it for her book club. And the book club was a group of English teachers. And they did tell me that I had some typos and there were a few things here and there, but they said, this is really good. Like, this should be on Oprah's summer reading list. And I remember feeling really proud of that. But I also have this other story in my head that writers struggle, that artists are starving. I'm sorry to use that word when literal people are starving, but there's this sort of like stereotype of like the starving artist that like you're passionate about your art, but no one will ever know until 100 years after you're dead. And then I started to play with that, like, oh, 100 years after I'm dead, people are going to read my stories and think that they were works of art. So let me do something about that. Let me do something about who that work belongs to. And let me build myself up in such a way that I allow myself to evolve and grow organically, naturally. And that's what I'm here to do on Substack. I don't know how good it is. I'm still battling those parts of me that are like halfway showing up. I am also a full-time student. I went back to college because that's something I really always wanted to do. I wanted to have a degree. And because the story is there, right? That like, you need a job. You need a job because you need to pay bills. And you need a job that is satisfying and that pays you enough. Because otherwise you'd be scraping by and you won't have energy to do your writing, which is so true. So I went back to college, and to be honest with you, I really love being a student. I'm always finding ways to put myself into a program because I love to learn. And there are some things that I am learning now that I really think will help my writing and have helped my writing. So I have a full-time job. And so balancing like work, play, like my writing is like it's my work, but it's also what I'm happy to do. And then my side hustle as a yoga teacher and facilitator. And, I work with people one-on-one, and it's satisfying and it's good, but it's also like, I would love to be at that point where I could do more for me, where I am not driving all over the place. I'm not running all over the place. I'm not doing 2 and 3 separate roles just to make one end meet the other. And, trying to keep up, it's just a lot. And yeah, now I'm just venting. But this is what I always did on Instagram. I used to do my stories, turn on stories and walk and just like brain dump. And I always did it with the trees. I've been walking in the same park every day for like 20 years. And I have to say that I think they are the reason why my skin is so beautiful, and that why my heart is still so compassionate, because there are parts of me that can be really burned. And I think that because I walk in nature every day, that I've still held on to some of that little girl sweetness. And I'm really motivated to keep that, and to build that, and to be the kind of person who is not afraid to be herself. Like, I don't want to be afraid to be myself. And I think that the trees and the flowers and the sounds of nature have helped me so much on my healing journey. But it's not even a healing journey. I feel like I'm evolving out of that healing journey language. Like, you never really healed. Like, it's not like the things that hurt you go away. They don't go away. They're there, but somehow you have a higher perspective on it. You have a bird's eye view on it, and you can see it like a map, like, oh, ouch, that really hurt, but it did put me on path for this. Ooh, that was really terrible. If I could take back some of those choices I made, I would, but I can't. I can time travel in a different way. And then how I move forward, I turn that painful decision that I made, I move forward with it differently. And in a way, I do time travel and I do change my past based on how I move towards my future. And all of life is spiritual. Everything we do, the way we show up at work, the way we show up for friends, the way we show up to do anything, how you do anything is how you do everything. And I just decided to move like my life was an offering to the Most High. And I just hope that He's okay with what I'm doing. He, she, they are okay with what I'm doing. And I do love Jesus Christ, but I am beyond my Catholic religion that I was raised with. I am beyond that. There is more. There is more to it than this. It does not stop here. I do believe we are the new ancestors, and how we do things now, that's the kind of world we leave for our lineage. And so I'm just trying to live right, you know? I'm just trying to do things in a way that is pleasing for myself, but pleasing to God, and not be some fake bitch. And let me tell you, it's a lot of unraveling happening. But now the unraveling is peaceful and happy, where before it's like you're sinking and you're gripping, you're trying not to fall under. And I think it was a combination of perimenopause and the loss of particular feel good hormones. And that can be a real tiny hell. And some people don't understand that. And so, whatever problem you already have that you are not addressing, perimenopause, perimenopause comes along and makes you face it without any feel good hormones. Like there's no bright side for a couple of months or maybe even a couple of years. There's like no bright side about things. You can't. I couldn't. That was my personal experience. I just like couldn't hold the bright side. I could not see the silver lining of particular things. And I didn't realize it was perimenopause until I was deep in it. And the doctor was like, well, it makes sense that you feel all the things that you're feeling because you actually don't have hormones that would support you. And so every problem that I had from before, every problem that I, really could never work on, could never fix, I now had to face it without any feel goodness. And that sucked for a long time. But let me tell you, I made it. I survived. I survived the hot flashes, the fatness, the change in my hair and skin, and something else came out of it. This like badassness, just like, I want to care about that, but I can't care about that. Like, I cannot even pretend to care about that, and I'm okay with it. Life is full of challenges. It's full of challenges. And there are things I wish I could change, but I'm right on time. You're never too late. You're never too late. I'm right on time. So here we are, single and happy on Substack, talking about life the way that it is, the way that it occurs for me, and how you can still have a spiritual life. You can still have joy. You can still go through something and experience yourself as a higher version. And little by little, you get there. Little by little, step by step, one foot in front of the other. It's not like you were a bad person and then now you're a good person and everything is good. No, it's like you may have made some bad choices that now you are aware of and you are trying to repair. But those bad choices still have their effect in your life and you still have to deal with them and work with them because those are choices that we made. And so here we are with a higher perspective and a bigger awareness. still dealing with the same, if you will, bullshit, because that's life. And I'm lucky to have a higher perspective now because it gives me patience and it teaches me, like, ooh, hold on, honey, hold on. If you want to go quickly, go slow. Be intentional. Be intentional. This might happen again. It might happen again because there are habits ingrained in you since childhood. There's a way that you look at yourself, there's a way that you look at the world that is practiced over and over and over and over your whole lifetime. So now that you're awake and aware and you want to undo them, they don't unravel all at once. They sneak up on you in little points of your life to remind you that it's there and that you can't just push it away. You have to love it. You have to love that version of yourself that behaved that way. You have to love that aspect. You have to find love when there isn't any. You have to place love where there is none. That's the spiritual work. It's like when you're the only one washing the dishes, you have to find that sink full of dishes and have the patience and the loving touch to do it again. And yes, one day you'll live on your own. One day you'll live the way you want to. But for right now, I live here and it's important that the dishes get done. And here I am doing them. And it's like you repeat and you repeat. And every day, somehow, there's new dishes in the sink. And you repeat and you repeat. But who you are when you wash the dishes is a choice. And it's the fight of your life. It's the fight of our lives. Who I'm going to be when I do the thing I don't want to do. Who I'm going to be when I have to do the thing that's really hard. Okay. First Fridays over at sweetsister.love. I'm students of starting over on YouTube. I'm beginning to build a chair yoga channel so that writers can take a break at their desk and stretch their bodies in ways that help them stay focused on their writing. It's also a beautiful approach for anyone who experienced an injury. I experienced a terrible injury. I couldn't touch my toes for a long time. Like tying my shoelaces, putting on my underwear, getting out of bed was excruciating. And so I took to the chair and I started practicing yoga in the chair. And so it is accessible, it is approachable, it is inclusive. So you'll find me as students of starting over on YouTube. I'm on TikTok a little bit, like I dabble here and there. I'll put some stuff up, but you can find me on all the places as sweetsister.love. And I would appreciate it if, you gave me a like, a follow, if you subscribed, if you read an article or two, and if you found that anything resonated, that you share that with me, because this is the time. This is the time to build that up. Like who are you talking to and who's listening? And how do I build a community around that? Because this is what we need. We need collective expansion. We need collective liberation, collective awakening, and we need something to hold on to. Who are those people that we hold on to in the community that help us grow? Who's going to offer a sane piece of advice? Who has the education and the wisdom to guide people? And I think right now we're finding each other. We're finding our collaborators. We're finding our peers. And yes, I do think I'm that person. I do think I'm that person. And we're always a work in progress. But that doesn't mean that I don't have incredible wisdom to share. And maybe you do too. And that's why you're here, because you're looking for a place where you can express yourself and be seen and be heard, have something valuable to share, and that it be reciprocated. So, anyway, thank you for listening to me today. I appreciate you and your time. And take a walk, you know, take a walk. See what happens when you start to take a walk and let some of the toxicity go and just be in your own energy. Slowly, slowly letting what doesn't serve you go and what helps you align and improve in.